Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another sports presentation of the Media Productions team and Communications Department for the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, featuring high school volleyball between the CSDB Bulldogs and the Liberty Tree Academy War Eagles. This is Bill Beagle to bring you the play-by-play action today. We're just about ready to get underway. This is a best of 5 match. The first team to win 3 games wins the match. Games are played to 25 points. You must win by 2. If a 5th game is required as a tiebreaker, that game will be played to 15 instead of 25. Liberty Tree will open the play with Cadence Ferguson serving, punched once by the Bulldogs, and out of bounds it goes. A nice strong return by Adriana Isaias, but out of bounds, and Liberty Tree has the first point of this game, 1-0. Kate Ferguson serving again, line drive over the net between a couple of Bulldogs. We'll remind you that servers have the option of serving underhanded or overhanded. This server, Ferguson, is serving overhanded with a right-handed serve. Line drive deep into the backcourt, hit once. Padilla hits it again for the Bulldogs. Has to go over now, but too high and hits the ceiling here in the gym. And it's 3-0 Liberty Tree. Bulldogs in their red jerseys with black and white stripes down the side, white numerals, and the white Bulldogs word on the back of the jersey with black shorts and black knee pads. Some equipment adjustment for the Bulldogs. Adriana Isaias peeling off some tape, taking it to the sideline. Here's the next serve from Liberty Tree. Hits the net, goes over, but it counts. It ticked the top of the net and made it over. Still counts as it fell without a return from CSDB. 4-0 Liberty Tree. The next serve deep into midcourt. Hit once. Padilla hits it again and over by the Bulldogs. A diving dig by Liberty Tree. And the point goes to CSDB. That makes it 4-1. Liberty Tree leading by 3 points, and the Bulldogs will get to serve now. And Mariah Gonzalez goes back to serve for the Bulldogs. Right-handed overhand serve. Nice line drive deep into the backcourt of Liberty Tree. Hit twice. 3 times and over. Gonzalez hits it again. Isaias, and then it falls, and Jerry couldn't quite get to it for CSDB, and it's 5-1 Liberty Tree. Liberty Tree using a bolero. That's the player with a different colored jersey. The War Eagles in blue jerseys and shorts with white numerals. There's an ace of a serve and was not returned by CSDB, so it's 6-1 Liberty Tree. All the Liberty Tree players in blue except for one wearing a green jersey. She's the libero. That's a defensive position. Line drive serve, returned nicely by Rosa Molina. Back over by Liberty Tree. Hit once by the Bulldogs, twice, and they can't quite get it over. 7-1 Liberty Tree as the War Eagles open strong here in game 1 of this best of 5 match. Next serve is going to fall short. That was Magdalena Keith serving for the War Eagles, and the point goes to CSDB. Grace Schuler comes in to serve for the Bulldogs. She is wearing a white jersey, so she is the libero for CSDB. Her right-handed overhand serve, nicely done. Hit twice and over by Liberty Tree. Padilla hits it for the Bulldogs, but Jerry sends it back over. The libero hits it for Liberty Tree, but no other player touches it. In the confusion, it falls to the floor, and it's a point for CSDB. 7-3. Bulldogs trail by 4. Schuler's next serve. Overhead, right-handed serve. Over the net, hit once, and then again some more confusion on the part of Liberty Tree, and a point for the Bulldogs at 7-4. Sometimes there's an in-between ball, right in between a couple of players, and neither one goes for it. Schuler's next serve. over the net nicely. Hit once by Liberty Tree. Bud hits it back. And a nice stop. Bud and Banjuri, rather Padilla and Banjuri are right there to stuff Bud's attempt to get the ball over the net. And the point goes to the Bulldogs, 7-5. Schuler's next serve, just over the net, nicely done, dropped right in front of Avery Sanders of Liberty Tree. And the Bulldogs have pulled to within one. Grace Schuler on a roll as the server for the Bulldogs. Slams the ball into the court a couple of times, now serves it over just short. That one just short of the net. And the Bulldogs attempt to tie falls short, and it's 8-6 Liberty Tree. Back to serve is Cora Fodor for Liberty Tree, and her serve goes right into the net, so that's a point for CSDB. 8-7 now. And back to see the serve is Marie Padilla, a senior here at CSDB. She pounds the ball twice, tosses it in the air, right hand overhand serve, nice deep serve, and it falls after only one touch by Liberty Tree, and we're tied at 8 points apiece. Game is to 25. There is no time limit. You must win by 2. Padilla's next serve after 2 swats into the floor. Nice line drive serve. The libero hits it for Liberty Tree. Second has to come over. They only got 2 hits on it, and CSDB pulls ahead 9-8. And there's a timeout called by Liberty Tree. As CSDB has run off about 6 straight points here. The lead 9-8. This is a 60-second timeout with 40 seconds remaining. Liberty Tree breaks the huddle first, and then CSDB follows right behind. The front line for CSDB is Adriana Azeas, Rosa Molina, and Deborah Banjuri. With Mariah Gonzalez, Marie Padilla, and Grace Schuler in the backcourt. And it will be Padilla continuing to serve for the Bulldogs. She's a right-handed overhand server. Tosses the ball nice and high in the air when she serves. Right now the officials are discussing. One official on either side of the net. The one on the right side stands on a ladder about 4 steps above the court for her good view. And the other official stands on the floor at floor level on the far side of the net. CSDB 9 and Liberty Tree Academy 8. Liberty Tree located in Peyton, Colorado, just east of Colorado Springs. Some discussion with the scorers table going on, the officials and the scorers table. Not sure that even the players know what's taking place. Athletic Director Max Wilding is explaining to the team what the discussion is about. Padilla's next serve, line drive, hit once and twice by Bud, and over by Liberty Tree. Hit by Schuler, and now Isaiah sends it over. 2 hits by Liberty Tree, and over. They just got it over the net, and going for it were both Banjuri and Molina of the Bulldogs. Great rally that time by both teams. Here's the next serve coming from Liberty Tree. Line drive out of bounds. Just out of bounds. So that's a break for the Bulldogs. They pull ahead 10-9. Deborah Banjuri goes back to serve for the Bulldogs. Deborah gets the signal from the official, spins the ball between her hands, swats it into the floor twice, tosses it in the air, right hand serve deep into the backcourt, and just out of bounds. That was a nice deep serve by Deborah. A little too far over the end line, and we're tied at 10 with Brianna Budd to serve for Liberty Tree. Right hand overhand serve, hit once, and into the net. Mariah Gonzalez made a nice dig on the ball, but it went into the net. Point to Liberty Tree, and they're ahead by 1. Bud to serve again for the War Eagles. Their right-handed serve hit once by Gonzalez, by Molina, and Gonzalez sends it over. 2 hits by Liberty Tree, third and over. Banjuri sets it up and out of bounds. Great diving fly by Isaias. Adriana Isaias went for it. That's why they wear knee pads. She had to skid across the floor, but the point goes to Liberty Tree, and they're ahead by 2 now. Brianna Budd still serving for Liberty Tree. Nice line drive serve. Hit by Padilla. And over by Molina. And out of bounds to Liberty Tree at a point to the Bulldogs. They trail by 1, 12-11. With the serve coming, and it'll be Rosa Molina going back to serve for the Bulldogs. She stands deep behind the end line. Spins the ball once or twice. Long, deep serve. Nice, lot of strength on that serve. And the War Eagles unable to return it. Ties the game at 12. Rosa stands very deep behind the end line because she has a lot of power on that right-handed serve. A line drive that went deep into the backcourt for Liberty Tree and gave the War Eagles some trouble. This time her serve goes into the net, so the point goes to Liberty Tree along with the service. 13-12, Liberty Tree by 1. Back to serve for the War Eagles is Olivia Savino, and her serve goes out of bounds, doesn't make it to the net, and we're tied again at 13 apiece. This will be Adriana Isaias going back to serve for CSDB. Officials watching over a substitution for the Bulldogs as Nyla Stingley comes in to replace Marie Padilla. And the officials getting that straightened out at the scorer's table. So it will be Stingley and Nestle Navarro de Perez in the front court, along with Mariah Gonzalez. And the backcourt for CSDB will be Deborah Banjuri, Rosa Molina, and Adriana Isaias. Still waiting for the scorers to get the substitutions recorded. 13-13, game 1 of a best-of-5 match here on the Bulldogs' home floor. As you look around the gym here at CSDB, you could note different banners up on the wall and second place finish in sub-district volleyball in the past for the Bulldogs. Here's the serve by the Bulldogs, and Liberty Tree gets it over, and Isaiah sends it back. Hit once, hit twice, and over. Nice dig by Banjuri. Banjuri and Molina both going for that ball, but they couldn't dig it out, and the point goes to Liberty Tree. 14-13 substitution for the Bulldogs as Marisol Coros comes into the game, and Deborah Banjuri sits down. Cadence Ferguson to serve again for Liberty Tree. Nice deep serve, hit once by Isaias. It rolled off her fingertips over the back line. So that's a 2-point lead now for Liberty Tree. Tough serve to return. Cadence Ferguson serving again, right-handed overhand serve. She lets the first one drop, now picks it up again, sends it over the net. Molina sends it back on one punch. And it falls just inside. Nice placement by Rosa Molina as it falls just inside the out-of-bounds line. So that's a point for CSDB. The official right on top of that had a good view of it. It's now 15-14 Liberty Tree with Mariah Gonzalez to serve. Right-hand overhead serve. Hit once and into the net. Cora Fodor could only manage to get it into the net. And it's 15-14. CSDB only down by 1 point. Next serve by Gonzalez. Line drive hits the top of the net, doesn't make it over. So that point will go to Liberty Tree. And the War Eagles lead 16-15. We were tied at 15. Now serving for the War Eagles. Molina sends it back over, and unable to return it is Liberty Tree. And we're tied again at 16. Great match here in game one. And Grace Schuler comes in. Nestle Navarro Perez sits down. Schuler into serve, wearing the white libero jersey. Line drive serve, hit once. Bud hits it and over for Liberty Tree, set up by Schuler. Molina hits it and into the net. So a point to Liberty Tree. We'll remind you the libero is in the game largely for defensive purposes. You can substitute them in at any time, and Liberty Tree just took theirs out. The libero wears the only different colored jersey on a team to distinguish them as that particular player. Served by Liberty Tree. Line drive, tough to handle for Isaias. Point to Liberty Tree. 18-16. The War Eagles by 2. Cora Fodor turn serve for Liberty Tree. Molina hits it once, and over it goes by Majuri. Hit by Bud of Liberty Tree, and over by the War Eagles. Majuri sets it up, and sending it over is Molina. 2 hits and over by Liberty Tree. Molina and Majuri hit it over, and they're going to be scoring the point. Actually, no. 2 players hit it at the same time for CSDB, so the point goes to Liberty Tree and a 3-point lead. Fodor's next serve. Makes it over and hit and out of bounds by Nyla Stingley. Her touch on that ball sent it back over the end line, and Liberty Tree has a 4-point lead at 20-16. Fodor still serving. Right-handed overhead line drive serve ticks the top of the net. Tough one to handle for Rosa Molina. And it's a 5-point Liberty Tree lead. That ball just ticked the top of the netting. Here's the next serve. Again, hits the net, but this time stays on Liberty Tree's side. That's a point for the Bulldogs, bringing them to within 4. And Nyla Stingley goes back to serve for CSDB. Dribbles the ball 4 times. Right hand underhand serve, but it doesn't get over the net. So that point goes to Liberty Tree. A 5-point lead again at 22-17, and Avery Sanders to serve for the War Eagles. Right hand overhead serve, tough one. Stingley got it over, but out of bounds. And a 6-point Liberty Tree lead. Sanders' next serve coming. Nice deep serve. Stingley hits it once. Schuler sets it up again. Majuri sends it over for the Bulldogs. Hit by Bud. Hit a second time by Liberty Tree. Strike attempt. Nice dig by Schuler. And Molina sends it over for the Bulldogs. 1 hit by Liberty Tree. 2 and over and out. An attempted spike that time by Kate Ferguson. She hit it a little too strong and out of bounds, so the Bulldogs have the serve, and it will be Deborah Banjuri serving. Pounds the ball twice, spins it in her hands, tosses it in the air. It's nice line drive serve by Deborah. Hit once, hit twice by Liberty Tree. It must go over, and it does. And it's hit twice and out of bounds. Isaiah to Banjuri, and then out of bounds. So it's 24-18, and Liberty Tree will serve the game point here. Bulldogs need a stop to stay in contention in game 1. Brianna Budd to serve for Liberty Tree, but she serves it into the net. The Bulldogs stay alive, trailing by 5 at 24-19, and Rosa Molina will go back to serve for CSDB. Remember, Rosa stands deep behind the end line because she has a powerful serve that travels deep into the Liberty Tree side of the court. Nice line drive serve, tough to handle, hit twice, and 3 times and over. Liberty Tree gets it over. Bulldogs send it back, set up by Gonzalez, but Banjuri can't quite get to it. Point and game to Liberty Tree by a score of 25-19. Great effort by the Bulldogs. Made it a very close and exciting game. But Liberty Tree takes the first game by 6 points at 25-19. Get underway with game 2 in a moment after the teams get their instructions from their respective coaches. And Ziegler giving some instruction to the Bulldog team. I'm sure she had to be pleased with that effort in game 1. Bulldogs 0-1 on the season, having lost to Evangelical Christian Academy in their first game in earlier September. CSDB breaks the huddle and takes the floor again, taking up their respective positions. The front line will be Nestle Navarro-Perez, Deborah Venturi, and Marie Padilla. The back line made up of Rosa Molina, Adriana Isaias, and Mariah Gonzalez. The visiting team served to open game 1, so the home court Bulldogs will have the first serve for game 2. And one of the officials just getting all the roster numbers down on his card so he can keep track of the action. Thus the pause before the start of the game. (25-19) score of game 1. Bulldogs were in the contest all the way, leading at times. The War Eagles break their huddle. They'll be on the right side of the net as we look at the court. Gonzalez to open the action with her serve, waiting for the official signal to begin play. Officials just checking position of all the players against what he has written down on his card. He's ready. And the official on the ladder will give the signal to start play. There it is. Gonzalez to serve, right-handed overhand serve, deep into the backcourt of Liberty Tree. They hit it twice. It has to come over now, and it does. Molina hits it for the Bulldogs. Padilla hits it, but Jury must send it over. She does. 2 hits by Liberty Tree. Here's a spike attempt. Nice dig by the Bulldogs, but it goes backwards in the wrong direction, out of bounds. Big fans in either corner of the court. I don't mean the fans that are observers or spectators, but big fans to keep the court cool. And serving is Cadence Ferguson for Liberty Tree. Line drive serve hit once, hit twice by the Bulldogs, and Molina does a nice job of getting it over, but just wide of the court and out of bounds. 2-0 Liberty Tree. Next serve. Lets it drop. She'll get a second. Mariah Gonzalez couldn't quite dig it. That ball was diving toward the floor as it came over the net. And it's 3-0 Liberty Tree Academy. Ferguson's next serve. Goes deep into the backcourt. Isaias gets it to Padilla, who sends it over. 2 hits now, 3 by Liberty Tree, and not quite over. Cora Fodor couldn't quite get it over the net, so there's the first point of the game, game 2 here for CSDB. Grace Schuler to serve now for the Bulldogs. Her right-handed overhand serve goes over to Fodor, who knocks it out of bounds, and it's 3-2. The Bulldogs pull to within a point. Schuler's next serve. Over the net, hit once and twice by Liberty Tree, and spiked over Schuler. Good dig. Manjuri hits it once and can't quite get it over. Good dig by Grace Schuler that time, but the point goes to Liberty Tree, and it's 4-2 now. War Eagles ahead. Going back to serve for Liberty Tree is Elena Nagel. Her right-hand overhand serve. Line drive. Schuler charges for it, but it lands at her feet as the Bulldogs discuss communication. 5-2 Liberty Tree. Here's the next serve by Nagel. She lets it drop. Her second attempt. Tosses the ball with her left hand, hits it with her right. Hit by Schuler to Molina, and falls in front of Gonzalez. So it's a point for Liberty Tree, and they open up a 4-point lead. Good place to stop this run by the War Eagles. Let's see what the Bulldogs can do. Here's the serve. Into the net. That's the break that the Bulldogs needed. Makes the score 6-3 Liberty Tree Academy, with Marie Padilla going back to serve for CSDB. Gets to go ahead from the official, slaps the ball twice, throws it in the air, and hits the top of the net, just goes over. Diving attempt by Fodor and Bud of the War Eagles. That was a tough one to handle, and it's a 6-4 lead for CSDB. Good serve by Padilla that time. Her next one coming. Tosses the ball high in the air, and this one's going to land short into the net. Marie really got that ball up in the air high before she hit it with her right hand. Point number 7 for Liberty Tree, and Fodor to serve for the War Eagles, and it goes out of bounds right in front of us. Went diagonally across the court and out of bounds. So the point to the Bulldogs. They trail 7-5, and it'll be Deborah Banjuri to serve for CSDB. She gets to go ahead, spins the ball, swats it twice into the floor, spins it again, tosses it in the air, right hand serve, nice and deep, and just inbound. The War Eagles thought it was going to go out, but nice shot. Great serve by Deborah as it lands inbounds, and CSDB's only down by a point at 7-6. Deborah's next serve coming. Nice high and deep serve, but out of bounds, and it's a 2-point Liberty Tree lead at 8-6 with the War Eagles to serve. Avery Sanders going back to serve for Liberty Tree. Her right-handed overhand serve just over the net, hit by Isaias, hit by Padilla and Gonzalez, and Manjuri sends it over and out of bounds. 9-6 Liberty Tree. Sanders next serve. Into the middle of the court. Manjuri hits it once. Molina hits it, and she's going to be called for too much of a touch on that one. You're not allowed to carry the ball in your hand at all, and if it stays in your hand even a little bit too long, it's a point for the other side, and that means Liberty Tree breaks into double digits at 10-6, 4 points ahead. Line drive, middle of the court serve. Padilla sets it up, and Isaiah sends it over. Fodor hits it, even though it was out of bounds. She might have been wise to let that one go, but the point goes to the Bulldogs, and it's 10-7. And it'll be Rosa Molina going back to serve for CSDB, trailing by 3. Here's Rosa's serve, real driving line drive. Bud sends it back over for Liberty Tree. Gonzalez sends it over for CSDB. Bud goes for it, but it's out of bounds. And CSDB pulls to within 2 at 10-8. Adriana Isaiah signaling to Rosa Molina to keep it going here. See if they can tie this up. Another line drive, but into the net this time. A lot of power, but not high enough. And it's 11-8 Liberty Tree. Brianna Budd will go back to serve for the War Eagles, leading by 3. Spins the ball in her left hand, tosses it and swats it. Hits the top of the net, falls good for the point. Just ticked the top of the net again and fell in. Those are hard to return. 12-8 Liberty Tree. And Grace Schuler into the game as Deborah Banjuri sits down for the Bulldogs. Here's Bud's next serve. It's going to be short and into the net. Point to CSDB. 12-9. Bulldogs trail by 3 with Adriana Isaias going back to serve for the Bulldogs. Her right hand overhand serve. Now the official said they weren't quite ready. They weren't set. So substitution coming in for CSDB as Marie Padilla sits down. Nyla Stingley takes her place in the front court for the Bulldogs. Right next to Nestle Navarro Perez and Mariah Gonzalez on the far side of the front court here. Isaias to serve again for the Bulldogs. Nice serve over the net. Hit once by Liberty Tree. Bud hits it again. Goes over by Kate Ferguson and sent back again by Liberty Tree. The teams rally back and forth, and Stingley sends it over. She'll send it over again, and it falls in. 2 hits in a row by Nyla Stingley. Once over, returned by Liberty Tree, and Nyla sent it right back. And it just dribbled off the top of the net, fell for a point. Bulldogs trail by 2. Isaiah's next serve. Just over the net, but once. Bud hits it again for Liberty Tree. It comes over and sent back by Gonzalez. 2 hits by Liberty Tree. It has to come over with this hit, and it does. Perez sends it back. 2 hits and a spike attempt by Liberty Tree, and great effort by the Bulldogs keeping that one alive as it went up and hit the ceiling. It was a tough rally there by both teams, but the point goes to Liberty Tree, and they lead by 3 with Lily Rogers with the ball, but she's going to be substituted for Gabby Cerna coming into the game for Rogers. Fodor comes in for Elena Nagel. And the official records the substitutions. 13-10, Liberty Tree on top by 3. Going back to serve will be Gabby Cerna for the War Eagles. Liberty Tree took the first game by 6 points. The first team to win 3 of the 5 games wins the match. Here's Cerna's serve. Makes it over the net, hit by Gonzalez, and Stingley goes for it, but the point's going to go to Liberty Tree because Stingley went into the net. 14-10, Liberty Tree Academy. Cerna's next serve. She pounds the ball hard into the floor twice, tosses it, serves it into the net. Point for CSDB. Bulldogs down by 3. And Mariah Gonzalez will go back to serve for CSDB. Here's Mariah's right-handed overhand serve. Nice deep into the middle of the court for Liberty Tree. They hit it twice. They hit it a 3rd time and not over. They even hit it a 4th time, and of course that doesn't count. So the Bulldogs pull to within 2 now at 14-12 with Gonzalez to serve again for CSDB. Here's Mariah's high toss and right-handed serve, but it's out of bounds. The War Eagles called that one all the way. They could see it was going out, so they didn't make a try for it, and they lead by 3 again at 15-12 with Cadence Ferguson to serve. Her serve goes into the net, so the Bulldogs get the serve back, and they're down by 2 again. And Grace Schuler substituted in for Nestle Navarro Perez, and Grace comes in to serve. sends it nice and high to the front court. Hit twice by Liberty Tree and over. Isaiah hits it. Banjiri hits it. It's going to make it over, but Liberty Tree sends it right back. Molina sends it over. And Liberty Tree returns. Great rally going on here. And the ball just inbounds. I believe that was Mariah Gonzalez who returned that. And it was one of those iffy ones, and the War Eagles let it go, but it became a point for CSDB. They're only down one at 15-14. Schuler to serve again. Gets it over the net, hit once by Liberty Tree. They send it back over. Gonzalez tips it over, but it's spiked right back. But Fodor hit the net for Liberty Tree. The point's going to go to the Bulldogs. Fodor sent it back over, but she bumped into the net when she hit it. She doesn't agree with the official, but the guy with the whistle makes the call, and it's tied at 15-15 with Schuler to serve again. Nice serve by Grace. Hit once by Liberty Tree, twice. Fodor has to send it over. She does. Schuler hits it. Now Isaiah. This has to go over. Molina can't quite get it over. Rosa took a good swat at that ball, but it went right into the net, and Liberty Tree takes the lead back 16-15. And the service. Line drive, serve, tough one. Good dig by Schuler. Molina sends it over. Molina hits it again after it comes back, but out of bounds as players go tumbling. Good effort by the Bulldogs. They're down by 2 at 17-15 with Elena Nagel to serve again for Liberty Tree Academy. Deep serve. Schuler digs it. Banjiri hits it, and Molina gets it over. One hit. Bud hits it again for Liberty Tree, and over again. Fodor hit it over, and Gonzalez couldn't quite get a handle on it, and it goes out of bounds over the end line. 18-15, Liberty Tree by 3. Good place to stop this run by the War Eagles. Here's the serve, nice and deep. Gonzalez hits it once, but high and out of bounds over the net on the other side of the court. 4-point lead for Liberty Tree. Here's the serve. Line drive. Molina hits it once. Banjiri hits it, gets it over. Bud hits it over. Banjiri again tries for it, but it goes into the net. 20-15, Liberty Tree Academy. War Eagles by 5. Line drive to the middle of the court. Gonzalez hits it, but it hits the side post on the far side of the net. And it's a 6-point Liberty Tree lead. 21-15. War Eagles up. And the Bulldogs want a timeout to talk things over. Maybe stop this run by Liberty Tree, as the War Eagles find themselves just 4 points away from taking game 2. After winning the first game 25-19. 35 seconds left in this timeout. A lot of good action by both teams. Good rallies going back and forth. A rally being volleying back and forth. There haven't been a lot of aces served in this game where a serve does not get returned. Most of the serves have been returned by both teams. And we've seen some pretty good serves that have been dug out by both sides. Bulldogs back on the court. The Molina, Banjiri, and Stingley along the front court with Isaiah, Gonzalez, and Schuler in the backcourt. Here's the serve again by Nagel. Line drive, Schuler digs it once. Gonzalez chases it down, but it was out of bounds and over her head. Like an outfielder trying to chase down a fly ball. It was over Mariah's head. Tough to return. Oh, that serve is just inbounds. That was an ace, not returned by the Bulldogs. And it gives Liberty Tree an 8-point lead at 23-15. Nagel on a roll as the server for the War Eagles. Here's her next serve. Deep into the midcourt. Schuler hits it once. Molina hits it, and Stingley gets it over. Returned by Liberty Tree. Molina sends it back, but just out of bounds, barely out of bounds. And Liberty Tree will serve for game point. Line drive hit once by Molina, but Jiri gets it over. Hit once by Nagel, twice, and into the net. Bulldogs stay alive in scoring that point. They trail by 8 at 24-16, and it will be Nyla Stingley going back to serve for CSDB. They need to reel off a few points here. If Liberty Tree scores 1 point, they win the game. Nice high and deep serve. Hit once by Liberty Tree. Bud hits it again. Fodor sends it over. Schuler hits it once. It's going to be out of bounds. And the game goes to Liberty Tree, 25-16. A 9-point victory in game 2 for Liberty Tree. They lead 2 games to none in this best-of-5 match as they reset the scoreboard to zeros. Liberty Tree will have the serve to game 3. A lot of good action in that second game. The Bulldogs have been in both games, making it very close. You can see the improvement over last season in the Bulldogs volleyball team because they have a lot of returners back on the team this year. Experience counts, and they have become a very, very competitive volleyball team. (25-19) and 25-16, the scores of the first 2 games. The last game was tied at 15 when Liberty Tree began to pull away. The Bulldogs scoring only 1 more point, being outscored 10-1 down the stretch. As Elena Nagel got on a roll as the server for Liberty Tree. War Eagles break their huddle first. Return to the floor. They'll be on the right side, and they should be serving to start game 3. And the Bulldogs now break their huddle. Come back on the floor. We'll set their formation for you in the front court. It's going to be Manjiri and Padilla and Navarro Perez. In the backcourt, it'll be Molina, Isaias. Now they've moved Manjiri back to the backcourt, and Gonzalez takes her place up front. A lot of dancing and hooting going on out on the floor. Both teams fired up. Liberty Tree has a lot of fans with them today. Obviously traveled here from the Peyton area to support their War Eagles. Again, the War Eagles are all in blue with blue jerseys, gray and white stripes on the sleeve, white numerals, blue shorts. The Bulldogs in their customary red jerseys with black and white stripes down the side, black shorts. And the official trying to finalize things at the scorer's table, writing names and numbers down on his personal card that he carries. Like about a 3x5 card that the floor official carries. The other official up on the ladder will now signal play to start, and Cadence Ferguson will start the game for Liberty Tree with a right-handed serve into the net. Bulldogs take the first point, 1-0. And Mariah Gonzalez goes back to serve for CSDB. Important to get a good, strong start here, game 3. Mariah's serve, nice into the midcourt, hit once and twice by the War Eagles, over by Fodor, hit by Molina, and over by Isaias, and right in between players. Another in-between ball. Nice return by Adriana Isaias, and that makes for a 2-0 CSDB lead. Gonzalez next serve. Line drive into the midcourt. Hit once, and nobody got a second touch on it for Liberty Tree, and it's 3-0 CSDB. Here's Gonzalez next serve. Line drive just over the net. I was afraid it wasn't going to make it, but it just ticked the top of the net. And that one was impossible to return. An ace from Mariah Gonzalez and a 4-0 CSDB lead. Oh, Mariah tossed that one high in the air. Good, hard to return serve. It was hit so hard by Liberty Tree's Magdalena Keith that it went way out of bounds, and it's a 5-0 lead for CSDB. This one goes into the net, this serve by Mariah, and that's a point for Liberty Tree, and they'll take the serve. And it's Elena Nagel that goes back to serve. She closed out game 2 with several points in a row. We'll see what she can do here. Sends it deep into the backcourt. Unable to handle it is Isaiah. And it's the second point for Liberty Tree. 5-2. CSDB leads by 3. Next serve coming from Nagel. Deep into the backcourt. Isaiah sits it once. Molina sends it over and just out of bounds. 5-3 as Liberty Tree Academy pulls to within 2 points. Next serve coming from Nagel. Line drive, tough to handle. Molina did a good job with that. Bergeri sends it back toward the net, but Padilla cannot get to it as it was right into the net. That was a tough chance for Marie. 5-4, the Bulldogs lead cut to 1. And another line drive, just inbounds right in front of Molina. 5-5, game tied as the War Eagles have run off 4 straight points. Nagel to serve again. Line drive is going to be inbounds. It looked like it might have been headed out of bounds. But Rosa Molina hit it, and it went out of bounds on the near side of the court. So the War Eagles take their first lead at 6-5. Nagel lets the ball drop. Now she'll get her second and final chance to hit it. She serves it. Over the net it goes. Up into the ceiling, hit twice. But Jury does a great job of getting it over, way deep into the backcourt. But the Eagles save it. Padilla sends it back over, but out of bounds. Good rally there by both teams as Liberty Tree takes a 2-point lead at 7-5. Here's Nagel's next serve. Molina digs it, but Jiri and Isaias run into each other. Gonzalez makes a great attempt. But another point for Liberty Tree, and they open an 8-5 lead. Officials checking out the alignment of the two teams. Here's Nagel's next serve upcoming. Into the net. She didn't get that one high enough, and it's 8-6. The Bulldogs get that point and the service back. That was a good stop for the Bulldogs there. Grace Schular into the game as Navarro Perez sits down. Grace will serve. Nice serve. Sent into the net. That was a tough chance for the War Eagles' Magdalena Keith. Her teammate hit it too close into the net. It's a point for the Bulldogs. They trail by only 1. Grace's next serve. over the net, hit once and twice and over. Sent back by the Bulldogs, sent back by Liberty Tree, way deep into the backcourt. No chasing that ball down. Adriana Isaias almost had to go to the parking lot to get that ball, and it's a 2-point Liberty Tree lead at 9-7 as Nyla Stingley comes back into the game for the Bulldogs, and Deborah Vanjuri sits down. There's a serve by Liberty Tree, dug by Isaias, or Gonzalez rather. It hit the ceiling, falls on the Bulldog side of the net, and that's a point for Liberty Tree. The War Eagles lead by 3 at 10-7. This is Cora Fodor serving. And sent right back over by the Bulldogs, back by Liberty Tree, and Padilla sent it over, but she's going to be called for too much hand on the ball. Called for a carry. I think Marie's a little disappointed with that call, but it means a point for Liberty Tree, and they lead by 4. Here's Fodor's next serve, deep one. Grace Schuler hits it once. Isaiah sends it back over. Liberty Tree hits it once, twice, and here it comes over by Fodor, and it stays just in bounds for a 5-point War Eagles lead at 12-7. That was Lily Rogers, I believe, that got the score on that point. Fodor's next serve, deep, pumped by Schuler and over by Molina. Hit once and twice by Liberty Tree. Now it comes over. Gonzalez sends it back. Set up by Liberty Tree and over by Lily Rogers. Unreturned by the Bulldogs, and it's a 6-point Liberty Tree lead at 13-7. Good place to stop this run. Line drive, serve off the hands of Rosa Molina and backward out of bounds. 14-7, Liberty Tree. Next serve by Liberty Tree into the midcourt. Schuler digs it. Padilla sets it up, and Isaias sends it over. Returned by Liberty Tree. Schuler again. Isaias. Molina will send it over deep into the backcourt, just in bounds. Liberty Tree thought that was going to be out of bounds, but nice placement by Molina. And it's 14-8. That point going to the Bulldogs. They trail by 6. It'll be Marie Padilla to serve. Swats the ball twice, tosses it high in the air, and serves it with her right hand. Deep into the backcourt, hit once by Liberty Tree, twice, and over. Schuler sets it up. Molina hits it again, and Stingley sends it over for the Bulldogs. 2 hits by Liberty Tree, and that one impossible to dig over the net by Lily Rogers, so the point goes to the Bulldogs. They've scored 2 in a row. That's 14-9, a 5-point deficit for CSDB. Padilla to serve again. It's going to be short of the net. Point to Liberty Tree, 15-9, with Avery Sanders going back to serve for the War Eagles. Tosses the ball into the air, hits it with her right hand, and falls between 3 Bulldogs for a point. 16-9, Liberty Tree by 7. Here's Sanders' next serve. It's going to be returned by Stingley. 1 hit by Liberty Tree, 2, and doesn't go over. That was another one that was tough for Lily Rogers to judge. It went into the net. 10 points now for CSDB with Stingley to serve, trailing by 6. Underhand right-handed serve, just makes it over the net. Hit twice and over by Liberty Tree. Molina sends it back for the Bulldogs. There's 1 hit, a setup for Liberty Tree, and an attempted spike by Cadence Ferguson. Nice spike attempt, but out of bounds, and that's a point for the Bulldogs as they pull within 5. Stingley to serve again. Underhanded right-hand serve, nice serve. Hit once by Liberty Tree and over, and Molina sends it back, and they're just dribbling over the net. Gonzalez now for CSDB. Nice placement by Mariah Gonzalez. There was some nice digs in there by both teams, and they were just getting the ball over the net, just kind of dinking it over the net. And it's 16-12. The Bulldogs are within 4 with Stingley still serving. There it goes over the net, hit once, and not over. Going for it was Magdalena Keith for the War Eagles, but again the ball was close to the net. She couldn't quite boost it over, so the Bulldogs pulled to within 3 with Stingley still serving. Nice serve by Nyla. 3 hits by Liberty Tree and goes over, and at the feet of Marie Padilla, could not return it. So the War Eagles now lead by 4 at 17-13. And back to serve is Magdalena Keith. She sends it over. Goes over Gonzalez and in front of Schuler for a point. 5-point Liberty Tree lead. 18-13. Keith still serving. A right-handed server. Tosses the ball high in the air. Hits it with her right hand. Gonzalez returns it for CSDB. Molina sends it over. 2 hits for the War Eagles, but into the net it goes. And they are not able to get it back over on 3 tries. So the service goes back to the Bulldogs, trailing by 5. Rosa Molina to serve. She is a very strong server, stands deep behind the end line as she serves. Substitution into the game for Liberty Tree. Prudence Conquest comes in for the War Eagles. Served by Molina, deep into the backcourt, hit twice, and it must go over now, and it does by Liberty Tree. Stingley hits it. Padilla sets it up. Gonzalez sends it high and over, but out of bounds. Service goes back to Liberty Tree, leading by 5. The War Eagles up 19-14. And serving for Liberty Tree will be Prudence Conquest, just newly into the game. Right-handed overhand server. Schuler hits it for the Bulldogs. Gonzalez hits it high in the air, hit the ceiling, and when it came back down, it was a tough one for Adriana Isaias to handle. And the Bulldogs are going to call timeout, trailing by 6. They are only 5 points away from elimination as Liberty Tree has opened a 20-14 lead. Remember, the game is to 25, and having won the first 2 games, if Liberty Tree Academy wins this game, they win the match. Best of 5 match. (20-14), Liberty Tree with the service. So the Bulldogs need to stop that and get the ball back. Bulldogs first to come back on the floor after that timeout. Now Liberty Tree returns. It will be Prudence Conquest still serving. She's just awaiting the ball. Hard to serve without a ball. And they finally rolled it to her. And the official signals the beginning of play. Conquest throws it in the air. Right-handed serve. Padilla returns it. Isaias gets it over. Just dinked over the net by Liberty Tree. Gonzalez sends it over. But the ball hit the ceiling on the Liberty Tree side of the floor, so that's a point for the War Eagles. They lead 21-14. Here's Conquest's next serve. Into the middle of the court. Schuler hits it once. Molina hits it, and Isaias tries to send it over, but that's 3 hits, and it doesn't make it. So it's 22-14, War Eagles by 8. The next serve from Conquest. Into the middle of the court. Schuler hits it once. Padilla sets it up. Isaiah sends it over deep into the backcourt. And Conquest hits it once. And it comes back over, returned by Liberty Tree. Schuler hits it. Padilla hits it. And now Gonzalez, but out of bounds. Tough when you're trying to hoist it back over the net with your back to the net, because you can't see exactly where it's going, and that point goes to Liberty Tree. They lead by 9 at 23-14. Bulldogs must stop this run. Here's Conquest serve. to the middle. Molina hits it. Padilla sets it up. Gonzalez sends it over. And right between players. Nice placement by Mariah Gonzalez. And the Bulldogs stay alive at 23-15. They need to run off about 10 points here so they could win 25-23. And it's going to be Adriana Isaias to serve for CSDB. There's her right-handed serve. High and deep into the midcourt. Hit once and twice by Liberty Tree and not over. Elena Nagel could not get it over the net. And the Bulldogs move to within 7 points. Adriana's next serve. Nice serve, deep again. Hit once and twice. And now Nagel hits it over for Liberty Tree. Molina sets it up. Padilla sends it over. Nice dig by Liberty Tree. And Padilla can't quite get it back over. Really good dig by the War Eagles that time. And that moves them to within 1 point of winning this game. Cadence Ferguson will serve for game. Sends it deep. Molina hits it once. Isaiah hits it. Has to go over. Stingley sends it back. 2 hits by Liberty Tree. And 3 comes over. Isaiah hits it. And Gonzalez can't return it. Game and match to Liberty Tree. 25-16. So Liberty Tree Academy takes the match 3-0 by scores of 25-19 and the last two 25-16 and 25-16. But the Bulldogs have a lot to feel good about as they made all 3 games close. On behalf of the staff of the media productions team and the communications department for the Colorado School for the Deaf and the Blind, this is Bill Beagle. Thanks for joining us.